Well, it's been a hot summer and we decided to do an impromptu investigation, so we drove out to Grapevine and we visited the Grapevine Cemetery. And here's a little history on it. Samuel D. Coble, joined later by his brother Alan B. Coble, settled here in the 1850s. In 1878, they sold 4.5 acres of land at this site for use as a public cemetery. The oldest known grave is that of Louisa Gurry, who died at the age of 22. Many pioneer settlers of the area are buried here, including Barton H. Starr, elected the first mayor of Grapevine in 1907, and James Tracy Moorhead, who served as a second judge of Tarrant County. Additional land south of the original tract was acquired in 1925. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Andre.
So where are we?
We are in Grapevine at the Grapevine Cemetery. I used to live across the street when I was a teenager, and from the moment we moved in, weird things started happening. Lights off and on, radios off and on. I woke up one morning, my niece was spending the night with me. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, just swinging her foot. She says, Amy, I'm 4. I said, Amy, who are you talking to? She said, her, pointed. So there's been some weird things my mom experienced. Well, not my mom, but my stepdad at the time. My mom went to bed and he heard her get up and walk down the hall, walk through the kitchen, walk into the laundry room, walk out to the garage, and he said, what are you doing? And she didn't answer, so he got up and she wasn't in there, and he went to the bedroom and she was sound asleep. So some weird things have happened. As a kid, I would go through here. We did the Ouija board a couple times, some weird things with the Ouija board, but I was just a kid, so kids, don't do the Ouija board. There's an unknown pioneer woman buried out here somewhere. I'd like to do a session at her headstone if we could find it. It's a little bitty one, so we'll see what happens.
So where do you think, or what do you know about what her grave is supposed to look like?
It's just a small stone like this, and I think it was like a pinkish color, and all it read was unknown pioneer woman. That's it. That's all there is. I think it was a pinkish color.
Well, I'd almost venture to say that
the oldest,
that is oldest to the newest, because over here we're already in the 1950s, 46, 22, and then it was 1881 over there. So it would make you think that, well, I don't know, but maybe this wasn't road back then.
No, I don't think so.
We walked this far.
It was really nicely engraved, and I was like that color, and nicely engraved like that.
And it was a floor, or was it a standing?
No, it wasn't a stand, and it was only about like yay big.
So it was in the ground, about yay big. So you walk across the street over there through this entrance. So you were a grave hunter when you were a little bitty thing. So it was at this point that we were really just on a search to find the grave of the unknown pioneer woman. So we started searching around and figured, well, let's try to find a grave before we actually start doing an EVP session or a ghost box session. So after a while of walking around the grounds, searching for the unknown pioneer woman's grave, finally did decide, let's go ahead and just do a ghost box session while we're walking around.
We're looking for the unknown pioneer woman. Okay, which direction should we head?
The bot. Studio. People.
very.
Friend, you know the one.
Can you be more specific?
Can you tell me the name that's on this headstone right here?
Spark.
I guess we'll just keep on walking. What's that? Oh, a giant coffee mug. Coffee bug. That's gigantic.
Andre loves his coffee.
I do.
Are you here?
If there's any spirits around here that like to talk, we'd love to talk to you. I'm here with my friend Cindy. My name's Andre. Can you tell Cindy hi?
Word.
Find it? Oh, look at there. I guess we were close.
See, Andre said I was lying. So, is the unknown pioneer woman here?
Yes. What's your name?
What year did you die?
To the unknown pioneer woman, how did you die?
True.
Sideline. He just.
Hey. Thing about playback.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us? Are you at peace since someone gave you a proper burial and at least a headstone? If we knew who you were, we could put your name on it. Get you a new one with your name on it.
Picked up.
But you have to tell us your first and last name. Hear that other female voice?
Get it.
Oh no, please.
Time out.
It's really weird. There was a funny name, and then another woman in a really calm, like whisper that said something. So much Spanish?
¿Cómo se llama?
Bleep up.
Mi nombre es Cindy. Este es mi amigo Andre.
You hear that female voice twice? All right, heading over here to the Stewart family burial site. Mrs. E.S. Stewart, memory of R.R. Stewart. This one is Wilburn K. Stewart, died in 1888. I'm going to use the Zoom H2. I'm going to put it out here. Let's see, we hit record. We are now recording at the Stewart family plot. I'm trying to find the spot where it's not so much wind, as there's a ton of wind out here. I'm going to stick the recorder right there. If there's any family members here that would like to talk, or if you have something to say, all you have to do is walk up to that device I laid down right there on Maggie's tomb, and you can just tell us your name. You can say hello, you can say goodbye, you can say get out, whatever it is that you'd like. Maggie M., wife of C.E. Stewart, died in 1890. Now, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say it's kind of morbid to go out to the cemetery and to try to talk to the dead. And, you know, a couple of things. Do I believe that the dead hang around the cemetery and around their graves? I would say yes and no. Yes, from the aspect of, I think if you call out their name, that they'll come to where that they were buried, because people came out and paid their respects here. But I also think that the soul, the essence, the spirit of us has the ability to travel, go to places that were in their memory, whether it's an old house, whether it's a plot of land, maybe where their parents grew up. Well, I think that they have that ability to do that. And anybody that's been investigating the paranormal for any length of time, you'll start to find out that you can run across spirits anywhere. I mean, I've had stuff happen at a grocery store, and also picked up an EVP in a grocery store shopping. And the grocery store is not old, it's not haunted. I just think spirits or energies are around us at all times. And when you open yourself up to the ability to, you want to seek them out, you want to talk with them, You want to give them a voice to where you actually listen to what it is that they say or have to say. I think that they're more drawn to try to speak with you. Now, there's a lot of people. It's kind of cute. There's a lot of people that say, you know, speaking to the dead is strictly forbidden. And if you're religious, it is. It's called necromancy. And that's something that I toil with a lot. And I know a lot of other investigators, they toil with the whole speaking to the dead. But, you know, we can get into a really deep discussion regarding this. But let's just say that in Christianity, that there's 3 levels. You have heaven, you have purgatory, and then you have hell. And there is a priest that I like to watch on Facebook, Father Mike Schmitz, and I believe it's called Ascension Today. Anyway, he's got a lot of cool little things, and one of the things he talks about is speaking with ghosts. Are ghosts and spirits real? Can they talk to us? And he speaks of biblical verses that say yes, ghosts and spirits are real, and yes, they can talk. And then talks about necromancy and how it's strictly forbidden because you're not supposed to speak to the dead. First off, I mean, we know not what we speak to. Lying is something that happens. We get lied to a lot. But he's of the impression that any and everything that we're speaking to, that speaks to us, if they are ghosts, spirits, souls of once living people, that he believes that they're in purgatory. And that would make a lot of sense that it would be purgatory, because for those of you that do ghost box sessions and you hear help me, does that revolve around a spirit that's in purgatory that needs help? Because as Father Mike Schmitz says, people are in purgatory because they need us, the spiritual warriors, the religious warriors, to pray for them. And that when we pray for them, they can have the ability to travel on to the next plane, heaven, whatever it is that you like to call it. You know, it's a deep discussion that can be very, very deep from the aspect of, well, do spirits in heaven, do they have the ability to come back to earth and come visit us? You know, I have to believe that yes, that they come back and they give us signs just to say hello, we miss you, we're thinking of you, don't do this, don't do that. So, you know, it's hard for me to think that when we die, and those of our family members that have gone to heaven, that once you go to heaven, you don't have the ability to come back and visit the living. It's hard for me to think that that would be an actual case. So then that leads credence to saying that it's hard to believe that if you're in purgatory, the only people that you're talking about or talking to or hearing these replies from are people that are in purgatory. So, you know, it's always a quest. This is our quest. The quest is life after death, because it sure would be nice to know that once we pass on, this is not it. That we're not just either cremated or that we're buried and we end up in a cemetery and our loved ones come visit, and that's it. Our existence is done. From a scientific level, our brain has thoughts and controls our body. We have emotions, and these are all electrical driven. These are all electrical impulses. Nothing like a 220 volt or 30,000 volts, but still electrical impulses that are creating the thoughts, the emotion, the movement of our muscles. And I'd made the statement once before how, Einstein had said that once, or Einstein had said that you cannot create nor destroy energy, you can only change. Well, electrical impulses, even though no matter how minute that they may be, they can't just disappear. So is that our essence? Is that our soul? Is that our spirit of who we are? Our consciousness? So that's what I do, or that's why I do what I do, is to find out some answers to some questions that are interesting to me. I don't want to break God's law. I don't want to be accused or be punished for necromancy. But, have I asked questions before? Absolutely. What's it like? Do you know? Can you see us? Do you feel heat? Do you feel temperature? Do you see other spirits around you? Because, as you look through the cemetery here, and let's imagine for just a moment, if you would, that this cemetery is completely covered with spirits all around. Can those spirits see each other? Or are they oblivious to a majority of the other spirits around them? Do they carry on conversations? Because when you do EVP work, which was my first love, was actually doing EVP work, and you capture a voice out of thin air that's giving you an intelligent response, it's hard not to give some validation to that. You have to rule out any external sources that may have contributed to the possibility of an audio phenomenon not being paranormal. But when it's a clear EVP and you hear it, where did that come from? Is it ghosts? Is it spirits? Is it interdimensional? Is it another dimension? So you can see how this quest can kind of take you on a long, drawn-out path of trying to find out stuff. For the longest time, when it comes to necromancy, I had just viewed it as, okay, well, you're trying to gain information from the dead. I'm not asking for winning lottery numbers. But then again, I am asking questions. What's it like? Do you know the moment that you passed away? Is there someone there to greet you, to help you through this transition? And I guess when it comes to the possibility of being accused of necromancy, any question that you ask and expect to get an answer to could be considered necromancy. So, that's an inner demon for me. Probably poor choice of words, but that's what I toil with inside. When you ask these questions, when I ask these questions, when I seek out communication, am I committing the massive sin of necromancy? So, I try not to make it just and easy. What's your name? Do you know blah, 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 blah. I try to bring a little bit of science into it. Now, when we go out to a cemetery like this, and this was kind of a spur of the moment thing for us, and just, you know, we've taken a lot of the summer off. The summer, even though it hasn't been brutally hot this year, it's still been warm. And if you're in any of the southern states, you know that warm is really hot. And I don't like the heat. I don't like to sweat. Sweating irritates me to no end. But it's a hot day. I mean, you can see, at least we've got some overcast today. We've got a little bit of a breeze, which I'm sure that you've picked up on the camera's microphone. But, you know, you kind of long for it. You want to communicate, and you want to learn a little bit more. But when we go out to, and we've got a huge investigation. When I mean huge, I'm talking about not as big as the undertaking of doing the Baker Hotel out of Mineral Wells, because that was honestly a huge undertaking and an extremely stressful undertaking because of the amount of equipment that we had to try to gather up, the logistics of trying to bring power back to a hotel that hasn't had power in it since 1971. You know, there was a lot of things that went into that. And the Baker footage will be released shortly. It is all completely done. I think I brought a good taste of Mineral Wells and the Baker Hotel. But anyway, back to what I was saying. We've got a really large investigation coming up very soon. And it's not of one location. We are going to, I think it's 5 locations that we're going to be checking out. So it's going to be kind of a week-long tour of a couple investigations. And this one's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. A lot of equipment from the standpoint of scientific gathering equipment, atmospheric conditions, not just your traditional EVP or catching a light anomaly, which is great too, by the way, don't get me wrong. And just walking around and talking like I am now, I would not be surprised that there's a EVP or 2 or 3 throughout all the audio footage. And I need to check the audio of that Zoom H2 recorder just to see what it's possibly picked up. But enough of me talking. I gotta find Cindy because she took off with the ghost box and she is somewhere out there. Last time I saw her, she was way back there walking that way. She's smart. She walked back to her car. Turn on the air conditioner. And turning off the Zoom H2. That recorder is now off. Funny about the Zoom H2. Takes damn near a minute for it to boot up and get ready. But you turn it off and the thing turns off in 3 seconds. Oh, there's Cindy. Red shirt all the way out there. At this point, I'm very parched. Can't imagine what it was like for people walking through the desert for a nice sip of water. But there's my relief right there, water. So Cindy and I out here at the Grapevine Cemetery, which is the name of the cemetery, Grapevine Cemetery. All right.
Grapevine Cemetery.
That's it.
Which is located in?
It's located in Fort Worth. No, it's located in Grapevine.
Grapevine.
Cindy, I have missed investigating with you.
Me
But we have a big one coming up.
Big one coming up. 3, 4. Wait. 3.
The 3, 4, or the 5?
Lavaca, Gonzales, Yoakum.
Yoakum. Oh, yes.
And you've never been to Gonzales.
Nope.
I've never been to Gonzales.
You've never been to Yoakum.
I've never been to Yoakum, but you've been to Yoakum.
Well, Yoakum Hospital will be a good place to go to, especially with Lavaca County Jail, just because on how those two places tie into each other with Gregory Hines.
Gregory Ray Heights. And his wife, what the frick was her name?
White woman.
Amy. No? I don't remember her name right now.
He killed his wife.
He killed his wife.
She worked at Yoakum Hospital, and that's where Gregory had killed her. And Gregory got caught, convicted, and then he reportedly committed suicide at Lavaca County Jail, which is highly suspicious, and I don't quite believe. I think, I mean, he was hung. That I do believe. He did die there, but I think he had a little bit of help.
Yeah.
You always have to wonder, I mean, all these houses right by a cemetery, how many spirits wander over? Do they wander? Well, ghost box I made back in June 25th of 2015. Aww.
That's really sad. That's really sad.
And 3.
Are there any of the children's spirits here?
The wolf pack. The horn.
Dear.
The
65 and
stone. Take it.
I think it's very nice that these toys have been brought out for you. Do you like that?
Side camera.
Get up.
Don's injured. The damn. Freeman. Hey, it's 16. Marlene Hudson on
It's always sad to see the graves of children. I pray for all of your souls and that you found peace and that you're with God.
Time certain fiend infiltrated. Well, that.
If there's any spirits around that would like to talk,
Just as reaching.
Operated.
say stop or say hello real loud.
Go to the right.
So go to the right. Oh, here's a fresh grave over here.
They had to do this. Ain't much extra. Do, but birds wearing our cool.
Sonia, are you here?
Playing. Hard for signing up. What?
Sonia, I hope your transition was peaceful.
Just done for you. Up front.
Up front? Okay. Said up front.
Right.
Can some of the spirits here tell us where Perkursky's buried?
Perkursky.
Oh, Perkursky, I'm sorry.
That's the direct.
Where's Perkursky buried?
Time if you know.
Do you guys know who I am? Who doesn't? You hear that? That's funny. That was just funny. I'm sorry. Considering I'm a nobody, who doesn't? You know what would be really funny? That tree that you're parked by, Kursky's right there. Wouldn't that just be?
That would be some shit right there.
That would be some shit. Well, it was at this point that I decided to break out the Panasonic DR60 and see if we could catch anything with it. All right. My name is Andre. This is Cindy.
Hi.
If there's anybody here, you can talk and this recorder can pick up your voice. Can you say hello? Stopping recording.
My name is Andre, this is Cindy. Hi. If there's anybody here, you can talk and this recorder can pick up your voice. Can you say hello? Stop recording.
Was there something right before you said stop recording? I couldn't hear it, but...
Hello? Can you tell us your name, please? Do you know who we are? Stopping recording.
I can hear it. Hello? Can you tell us your name, please? Do you know who we are? Stopping recording.
There was something there again. So after returning back to the one family plot to check out to see if the Zoom H2 recorder had picked up anything, no EVPs were found, at least this time, on this investigation. And that's the thing that you have to remember when you go out on an investigation. You're not always going to catch something, but when you do, it's always so worth it. So we'll say that the Grapevine Cemetery is a absolutely beautiful cemetery. And like I'd said it before, you know, you don't have to go to a haunted location. A lot of these locations nowadays, they charge an astronomical amount of money just to be able to go out and investigate. You can investigate anywhere. You may be surprised that you can catch an EVP out in your backyard. You don't have to have an expensive recorder, just a simple little digital voice recorder that you can get from Walmart for $20 or $30 will suffice, and it'll work well. The key thing is you've got to take your time and you have to listen and then listen and listen some more. And, you know, the review process is probably the most tedious out of all of it. But, you know, when you spend 8-9 hours going over evidence review, and if you only catch one EVP, that one EVP makes it worth it because you caught something out of the ordinary. And especially when you can determine that there's no outside influence, there was no one else around, and it's a very clear Class A EVP. That's always rewarding. So that's a little bit of an idea of what our investigations are like when you go out on a hot summer day, traveling out to a cemetery to possibly get some interaction, maybe an EVP or a ghost box reply or something along that line. We've got some more investigations coming up, some really cool ones that will be very interesting. I've got a video of the old Lavaca County Jail that I am now finishing up. It's actually from the last two times that we were there, 2016 and also 2015. So that should be finished and up hopefully in the next week or two. Also, probably around holiday time is when I'm going to release the Baker video from the infamous Baker Hotel out in Mineral Wells. Once again, from all of us at North Texas Ghost Society, we thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next adventure. Bye-bye.